Hello, my name is David Baker. I'm running for county mayor. I'd like to tell you a couple stories in this video about my grandfather. I believe it'll be interesting, and I know it's very special. The Bible says a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. A good name is better than great riches even, and to have that good name that's passed on is a blessing. My grandfather's name was Hubert Curtis Baker. My oldest son's middle name is named after him, so it's David after me, Curtis after my grandfather, Baker. My first ever paid job was working for my grandfather stripping tobacco. It wasn't fun work, but I got paid for it. Ready how much? 25 cents an hour. We were rolling in it. 25 cents an hour. My grandfather was a farmer and a carpenter. And growing up, that's what I knew him, a hardworking farmer and a carpenter. In recent years, and then a few years ago, I got to learn a lot more about my grandfather and what people thought of him. When we first moved back to Columbia, it was early 1993. And in church education class, they said when you go to a new town, set up your personal account and your church account at the biggest bank in town. You may need them one day to build a building or something like that. So I did. First Farmers and Merchants National Bank. I had my first savings account there when I think I was 3 or 4 years old that Mom opened for me. And so I went there and got the account set up. And point number 2 on my note said, go meet and introduce yourself to the bank president. He's too busy. He didn't have time for me. I'm a 20-something-year-old nobody. But I followed the notes and went to the second floor and talked to the secretary and told her who I was and what I wanted to do. And she goes, hold on. Yes, he's available. Go on in. And so I went in, and it was President Moore. And I told him who I was, what I was doing. He said, nice to meet you. He said, who is your mother? I told him, Marilyn Baker. He said, she used to work for me before I was even a vice president. I said, wow. He said, who is your grandfather? And he said, and I told him, Hubert Baker. He sat back, took his glasses off, put the corner of it in his mouth, and looked at me, and he said, your grandfather was one of the best men I ever met. If you ever need anything, you let me know. Wow, that was neat. I like my grandfather, but just a hardworking farmer, carpenter, I thought. How special that was. Fast forward till last week. Friday night, we had First Friday downtown. Got to meet a lot of people and shook their hands and loved it. We had a great time. I looked across the way and I saw Ed Harlan. Ed Harlan was the mayor years ago, and I believe the mayor when we moved back to Murray County. I didn't know him well, met him a few times and shook his hand, but someone that was in the position of which I am running, I thought would be nice to meet and to pick his brain and get any ideas and wisdom and advice from him. So I walked across the street to be able to meet him and shook his hand and told him who I was. He said, David, I know you. And in my mind, he would already be committed to voting for someone because been around for a long time. And more than a vote, I would like to tap into his mind, what he has learned from experience, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I'm sure we all have that. And so when I started to talk to him, he went like this and put his hands up and said, David, I thought he was getting ready to tell me he's already voting for somebody. He said, David, you don't have to politic me, ask me to vote for you. He said, I am for you. He said, we are voting for you. Wow. Okay, I was shocked. I was not expecting that. And here's why. He said, your grandfather, Hubert Baker, was one of the best men I ever met in my life. He said he was the example of true Christian grace in a man. He used to work on our barns and on our farm, and in fact, I even tried to model my Christian life after what I saw in him. To me, he was a perfect example of a man, Christian, with grace and a gentleman. And here's his statement to me. David, if you are half the man that your grandfather was, you will make a great mayor. Wow. Shock. Humble. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. I have an amazing dad, Cecil Baker. Learned so much of hard work and how to get things done and to multitask and to make sure that everything is covered to go forward. And I bragged on my dad for that. When he retired from DuPont, they literally had to hire 5 people to replace him because of the workload that my dad could take and do. And then to find out the former mayor and the former bank president, each separate places, times, almost 30 years difference, had said, your grandfather is one of the best men I ever met. What a humble thing. Thank God for heritage. Thank God for family. And thank God for what God's done in my family. I'm so blessed to have that heritage. God bless you.